Chosen one, what you are about to hear is not a message that came from a man. It came from above. It traveled through the silence of every night. You wept alone, through every morning you woke up, and did not know how you would make it through the day. The one who made you has something important to say to you today, which is why it found you here, right now. You will never understand what has happened to you the same way again. After hearing what the Father has to say, I need you to understand something before you hear His voice. When things are going well, God doesn't speak right away. He waits. He is waiting for the right time to say what He wants to say, which is now. All of the pain you've been through, the confusion you've been through, and the silence you've been in for what seemed like an endless time was not punishment. It was all just getting ready, and now the getting ready is over. Please pay close attention, because God has never told someone something if they were not ready to hear it. He didn't say it to the people who quit when the stress got too much. He says it now to you, the one who stayed, the one who kept going, the one who bent but didn't break under the full weight of the season you were put in charge of. You are hearing me now, my child. I saw every step you took as you went through the valley. I saw you almost give up one night. I saw you move every morning, even though you didn't have anything left. I saw the tears you tried to hide from everyone, because you didn't want them to know how close you were to losing it. Also, I have something important I need you to know. You made it through. The season that tried to bury you has ended. What comes next is not more suffering. What comes next is what I promised you before the foundation of the earth. You made it, my child. You made it through. This is what this message is about. It is an announcement from your Creator that the hardest part of your life is over. You had no idea when it would end. You asked over and over if it was going to end. The answer is being given right now. It's over. The season you were built for starts now. The season that needs everything the last season made you. It's possible that you are the one this message is really meant for. Let me tell you how to find out. You've been through a season that seemed impossible to get through. You prayed, but the answer took a while to come. Even though you believed, the ground still moved under your feet. Everyone around you told you to stop and find an easier road, but you didn't listen. You're still here. That isn't a mistake. That's calling. Today, this message was put in front of you because you did something that most people never do. You walked the whole trial. You didn't go back when the pressure was at its highest point at the edge of your breakthrough. You didn't turn back. So now you're right at the door of everything that was promised. Type, Amen, right now if you have a strong sense that this message is meant just for you. There is an idea I want you to grasp, because it will help you understand everything that has happened to you this season, and why it happened the way it did. I name it the finish signal. God put you through a trial, and at some point, the completion signal means that the Father is happy with the work you've done. It's not a loud time. The message from above is not very exciting. It sneaks up on you, like when the last drop of rain falls at the end of a long storm, and the clouds start to part to let light through. The landscape looks completely different after this. Most people miss the signal for completion, because they are trained to endure so much that they don't notice when it's done its job. Even when the water is still, they keep getting ready for the next wave. Even after the field is clean, they keep getting ready for the next battle. You've been ready for another wave. You have been ready for the next tough thing to come along. Because you have been holding your breath. You have been moving like you are still in the middle of a storm. However, something inside you, something deeper than your thoughts, somewhere words can't fully describe, that something knows what I'm saying to you right now. The signal for completion has gone off. It's not almost over or 80% done, the trial is over. Done. So you know that the person who made you can see what you've been carrying in all its glory, I'll name it. As the season went on longer than you thought you could handle, you had to carry its weight. Some parts of this season made you wonder if you had done something wrong to deserve it, instead of asking when it would end. You thought about the reason by going back in time. You thought about your faith, and whether it was strong enough. While other people seemed to be doing well, you felt bad that you couldn't figure out why. You were stuck in a valley, while everyone else seemed to be doing well. It's not a sign of weakness to think about yourself like that during a tough time. It shows that the person really wants to find the truth. The truth is about to come to you right now. This is what the length of your trial really said about you. The length of your trial did not show that you failed. In other words, it showed how much you were willing to carry. Small assignments need little time to prepare. It took time, fire, and pressure that changes a person from the inside in a way that can't be seen from the outside, a way that only God can see, and that will only be revealed over time. That's how heavy what God has put your name on is. Not because you were forgotten, but because you were in pain. It was because you were chosen for a task that needed a certain level of refinement that could not be sped up or done in a simpler way. The sign I'm going to talk about now is one you may have felt, but never heard put into words in this way. You've been wondering if the fact that your life is so hard means that there is something seriously wrong with you, or your calling. People who seem to have an easy time with life have made you wonder why your path needs so much more from you. You know what it's like to be worn out after running a race that no one else seems to be running. Your most honest self, when you're by yourself, and not having to put on a show for anyone. You ask the question that only truly brave people are brave enough to ask. Will this ever get better? A common reason given for a life like yours is a lack of spirituality. People in your circle may have told you that you need more faith, that you need to let go of something, or that the fact that you are still suffering is a sign that you are not following God's plan for your life. That explanation, though, is not the one God gave you. That answer sounds spiritual, but it's not right for you. At this point in your life, that's not what's been going on. This is the secret part, and it has something I call the victory wound. The victory wound is the mark that appears on someone when they are chosen to do something bigger than they can handle right now. For the assignment to work, the person needs to be expanded, and in the kingdom, expansion always means a wound that goes deep enough to make room inside. The wound from the victory is not a sign of weakness. This is the proof that the preparation process is working exactly the way it was meant to from the start. In the Bible, every person with a big job had to go through a big wound first, before he was given any power. The man named Elijah, who called fire from heaven, and stood up to kings without fear, had to go through a long time of being alone, and falling apart in the wilderness, before God gave him the job that would shake the whole country. He sat under a tree and begged God to kill him. Before the fire, there was the wound. The wound did not get in the way of his destiny. The wound was how it got inside. His pain did not disqualify him. The pain prepared him for something that no amount of comfort could have done. You can better understand your own life with the help of this pair of contrasts. A wound that makes you bitter is one that stopped the healing process in its tracks. A wound that makes you feel more deeply is a victory wound that has done its job in you. Take a look at what your pain has made you. You're not angry, you're more deep, you're not shut down. You are more open than ever to God's things and to other people's real lives. At this point, you have a compassion that you could not have built up on your own. That's not something you made. That's what the process did to you when you wouldn't leave it, even though it would have been easier to do so. What you just heard is what the process has made you into, so type, "The depth is mine." The agency has been given back to you right now. Even though you were weak, you did not make it through this season. The Holy Spirit was doing something inside you that needed your permission at every step of the way. That's why you made it through. Getting up every morning was a sign that you agreed with the process. Every teary prayer you said was an act of agreement. Every day, you chose to believe, even though everything around you seemed to show that what you were believing was wrong. What you did was agree to something. The person who invited you to the process was watching every pact and saying, "Yes, that one. That one is ready." Now I want to talk to you about something that has been going on in the background of your life that you may not have been able to describe. Something changes in a person when they make it through a trial and come out on the other side whole. It does not make a loud statement about itself. It comes on slowly and steadily, like when the warmth comes back after a long winter. Once you know what you're feeling, it's easy to spot. You are going through that change right now, as you listen. A part of you is starting to realize that you don't need to be in the position of striving and enduring that has defined the last part of your life. You are not in the war yet. The war is over. And the person who came into this season is not the same person who leaves it. Now you have something on you that no one can take away from you, because it was made in fire. Let me talk about making things. There is a difference between getting information and being formed in the kingdom of God. You learn something when you listen to a teaching. You go through formation when God uses a time in your life to build something into the core of who you are. You can get information right away. It takes time to form, you have to fight it. It takes constant stress, which is something most people try to avoid their whole lives. It's not information work that God has been doing in you over the past few months or years. Form work is being done. You can't learn character depth, spirit stability, or how to be still in the middle of chaos from a message. He has been working on these things over time. You have lived it, so it must be true. That's what makes what's coming unique. You can now hold it. If you're still listening, please let me know when you're done in the comments below. That a comment phrase doesn't change anything spiritually. But the fact that you said is the first step toward taking on the posture of someone who has received. Someone who knows that the case is over. Someone who has been bracing for years and is now starting to stand up straight. Your mind has been going through the same things that God has been doing in your spirit. You couldn't see it as formation though, without a name for it. When someone has been in survival mode for a long time, their mind changes in a certain way. The mind changes. It learns to spot danger ahead of time. Before the current problem is fully solved, it learns to look for the next one. This is not a flaw in your character. This is what the mind does to keep the person it lives in safe. The mind acts like a guard, always scanning the horizon for the next storm. It's so good at what it does that it doesn't know how to stop, even when the sky clears. This is what's been going on with you. Your mind has been protecting you with a program that you don't need at this point in your life. You're not hurt. There is nothing wrong with you. You are the kind of person whose mind worked really well during a hard time, but now needs to be retrained for the next time. Because we need open hands instead of closed fists for what's coming. And it needs a heart that is learning to receive, not just one that is trained to endure. Now it's time for the second breakthrough beat. What I'm about to say will make something clear about your present situation that nothing else has. You might be feeling a strange mix of hope and resistance right now as you listen. The part of you that knows what is being said is true is the hope. The part of you that is resistant has been let down in the past. The part that heard breakthrough was on the way, but saw it not show up when it was supposed to. The part that kept itself safe by not opening all the way, because full opening had caused you pain in the past that you weren't sure you could handle again. There is a word for that resistance, and it's not doubt. It's what I call the surrender threshold that you are feeling. The surrender threshold is the specific inner wall that forms in someone who has been picked for big things, but has been hurt by the time gap between what was promised and what actually happened. This is the part of you that wants to believe, but holds back just enough to be able to handle another disappointment. It was a way to protect yourself that made sense at the time. And it's now the only thing that's stopping you from receiving all that God has planned for you. This is what the surrender threshold looks like. When you hear words of promise, you feel them land somewhere inside you. But almost right away, you feel yourself pulling away. In your mind, you don't do it. It takes less time than you think. It is a defense mechanism your spirit formed after being pushed to its limits and not seeing the result when you thought it would. The most common reason for this kind of resistance is that the person doesn't believe enough. That's a lazy and wrong way to explain it. People who have the strongest faith often have the highest threshold for giving up. This is because they believe the most deeply and wait the longest for the promise to be fulfilled. Their refusal is not because they don't believe. It is the last bit of faith that has been tried and held up to the very edges. Here is the secret thing that works. The point of surrender is not the end of the line. This is the last door before the room where the breakthrough happens. This is the pair that stands out. People who are afraid keep the door shut, which keeps them safe but also small. A door that is opened by surrendering does not promise safety, but it does promise access to everything that is waiting on the other side. The space behind your surrender line is full. God has been filling it every day of this season. Everything that wasn't shown during the trial was kept secret, and now it's all been stored. There is only one thing left to do: walk through the door. The agency comes back to you now. You don't have to be ready to cross it. You don't need to be sure of yourself. You only need to do it. Stay present in this message to start receiving right now. That's the next step. I want to teach you something that will change the way you always look at the hardest time in your life. When you wait in ancient Hebrew, you say, kava. Kava doesn't just mean to wait for something to happen before sitting down. It's in the word, kava, to twist, bind or be weaved together. It talks about the kind of waiting that is active at its core, and keeps the person connected to the source of what they are waiting for. That way, when the time comes for release, it's not just of the thing they were waiting for, but also of the person they became as they waited, becoming more like God. The prophet used kava when he said that people who wait on the Lord will get stronger. He wasn't just talking about someone who stood by while they waited. He was talking about someone who was actively being woven into God's plans during the wait. You didn't just wait, you acted. You had to go through with the process. This season, you were connected to the person who was shaping you. And the strength you feel now is the release of something that was building up inside you. It was made just for you. It's just right for you. Because it was shaped exactly like the pain you were going through and the faith you kept up during it. You are welcome to rest right now, not to stop, but to rest in the truth of what I just said. There is nothing else that needs to be done this season. You don't have to perform your way into the new season, or show God that you deserve what's coming. The work for the season is over. There is no more to the formation. And the way to stand in the new season is not to work hard. It is the reception. You can breathe. Don't try to achieve anything. When something comes at you, you should keep your hands open, not clenched. You have also earned the right to hold out your hands. Type, "I receive," in the comments if you can feel the truth of this beginning to hit you in a way that is different from just hearing it. Not as a performance, but as the first thing you show from the inside, that you've decided to stop bracing and start receiving. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. But more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you aren't just visiting a site. You are entering a community of like-minded believers. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests, lift up the burdens of others, and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of faith. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give, and it will be given to you, is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose, join the conversation, and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let's open the heavens together. Release your seed today, join our community, and see what God brings back into your life. Now, before we go any further, I want to plant something in your mind. The time is important. Ancient knowledge and modern scientific knowledge have come together to create something that directly explains what is going on in the brain of someone who has been having the kind of long problems you have been having. I'm not going to name it yet, but please hold this question while we go on. It's possible that the breakthrough you're experiencing now could be helped in ways that go beyond what faith or willpower alone can do. Does the mind have a key that can open a door? Put that question on hold. We'll get back to it. Now I want to move on to the third part of this message. Please pay close attention to what I am about to say, because it will determine whether this time of change goes as God planned or stops at the threshold. I've seen the same thing happen over and over again in the lives of people who go through a long trial and make it through it. The trial is over. The person feels the change coming on, but just as the new season starts, the person pulls back. Not because they don't want the new season, but because the trial felt like it was used to them. The pain became familiar, and the new thing, the promise, the open door, feels strange and unsafe because of this. This trip away is not a flaw in your character. It's the last test before the next season starts. The surrender threshold has one question for everyone who gets to it. Do you trust the person who got you through the hard times more than the pain you lived through? This question is not about whether you believe in God in a broad sense. It's specifically asking if you trust Him at the point of change, right when you need to let go of the old posture and embrace the new one. A lot of people who have been through terrible things don't make it across this threshold. They live in a kind of middle ground, with one foot in the old season and the other in the new. They talk like they want to win, but their posture shows that they are ready to keep going. In their minds, the trial is over, but they haven't let it end in their bodies or in their daily lives. I need to tell you the truth. You will have a different version of your next season, depending on how deeply you cross the surrender threshold. It's not that God doesn't let people who only barely cross the threshold in, it's because the ability to receive is trained. And crossing the threshold all the way through trains that ability. When you fully cross it, your ability to hold what God is bringing grows at the same time to fit the size of what is coming. You have already started to cross this point, as shown by the fact that you are still here listening. Type, I receive this right now. If you are ready to fully surrender, let go of the old position, and receive everything that is already coming your way. Now, let me play you the third breakthrough beat. This one ends the loop on everything you've been through and reframes it in a way that you will remember for the rest of your life. This is the sign. It seems like you've been on the verge of a breakthrough for longer than it should have taken. Even though you have prayed, trusted, believed, and shown up, the fullness of what you have been believing for has not yet shown up in the world. The question makes sense. If I've done everything right, why doesn't what I've been promised yet show up in the real world? Timing is usually given as an answer. God just needs to wait for the right time. In some ways, that is true, but it doesn't fully explain why the time seems to be taking so long. It doesn't talk about how someone feels on the inside when they've been living in the space between the promise and the reality for what seems like too long. This is the secret mechanism, which has to do with the fourth named idea in this message. This is what I call the receiver alignment. The receiver alignment is the process of lining up a person's inner world with what God has prepared for them to receive. What is not yet aligned in the inner world cannot show up in the outer world. It's not that God is limited by what's inside, but when the gift comes, it needs someone who has been trained to handle it. If someone gets an inheritance before they are ready to handle it, it does not bless them. It's too much for them. And God doesn't give many gifts to people who already have too much. He waits until the inner world is ready to receive, care for, and share what is given. The timing felt longer because of how the receiver was lined up. There was no break in the promise. It was the last part of the alignment. This is the part that most people miss. The alignment on the inside is finished before it shows up on the outside. This means that if you feel a change in your inner world right now, if something inside you starts to receive instead of fight, that change is proof that the alignment is finished. The outside manifestation is coming soon. It can't be too far behind. What is lined up on the inside will show up on the outside at some point. This is the pair that stands out. If you focus on the outside result before you've aligned your inner self, you'll always be working twice as hard for half the result. When the internal alignment is done, the external results will show up in a way that feels different from what was there before. Not because the person stopped working, but because they are now working from a place of alignment instead of aim. That part of your receiver is finishing up as you read this message. This isn't a figure of speech. This tells you what is really happening at this very moment. Before I tell you how to put this message into practice, I want to talk to those of you who have a resistance that hasn't been named yet. This is what this resistance sounds like. This kind of message has given me hope in the past, but it has also faded, leaving me back where I began. I'm not just going to say that this time is different. I am going to explain why it is different. The message is not what's different. Where you are in the process is what makes it different. In the past, when you heard messages like this, the receiver wasn't fully aligned yet. Because you were still in the middle of the trial, and in the formation, the words did land. But they couldn't do their full job, because the interior alignment wasn't there yet to support them. That's not defeat. That's the time. As of now, the alignment is done. The case is over. The formation is now complete. When seeds land in ready soil, they don't stay seeds for long. The test showed that the wound was spiritual. What I'm about to say shows that part of the wound is neurological, and that part has been fixed in a way that matches how precisely God was already working. Now I want to talk about something practical. Something that people have directly asked me about, and I'm going to talk about it now, because everything I've said so far has set the stage for what I'm about to say. There is a discovery that brings together what people have known for a long time, and what scientists know now. There was a discovery about how the brain works when things are hard for a long time, and what can happen when the brain is given certain help that lets it change from the survival mode it has been in to the reception mode the new season needs. First though, let me talk about two people whose stories changed how I saw this moment. A woman from California had been going through what she called the darkest time of her life, a time of loss and confusion. It was over, but she was broken on the inside but whole on the outside. These prayers were still going on, but she felt like they were hitting a wall. She said that her prayers were like someone who had taken off their armor, but didn't know what to do with their hands, because they were open and ready to receive. She learned about a daily 8-minute practice using a certain sound sequence that is meant to connect the left and right sides of the brain. She began to use it every day. After 2 weeks, she noticed that her prayers were different. There was nothing different about the way she prayed, but something inside her was more open to receiving during prayer than it had been before. She said it felt like a door she had been pushing against from the outside opened all of a sudden, letting everything she had been holding out for come to her in ways she hadn't planned. The same practice was looked at with doubt by a man from Texas. He didn't want to have a spiritual experience. He wanted to get his mind clear, so that he could think strategically again and see solutions where he had been seeing only walls. He said that the changes were slow and not very big. He began to think more clearly. His ability to think about many things at once without getting too stressed out got a lot better. He began to see the solutions he hadn't been able to see before. The fog that had been over his mind during the long period of trouble started to lift, and as it did, he could see the way forward. There was a shift in the mind from survival orientation to reception orientation in both people. Even though their experiences were different. What this method is based on is not new. As a result of the Nobel Prize-winning work of Dr. Roger Sperry, who in 1981 found that the left and right hemispheres of the brain have different functions, and showed what can happen when they work together. Based on that basic research, Dr. Daniel Barron created an 8-minute targeted auditory sequence that makes the brain's conditions right for whole brain activation to happen. This is not the main point of the message. This message is about God, but God has always used tools. He had a staff, he used water, he used oil, he uses the things he wants to. The Genius Switch is the name of the product that came from this research, and I want to tell you why it's important for someone like you, who has just been through the fire, and is now at the door of the new season. The brain of someone who has just finished a long trial, and is now on the verge of a new season, is in a very specific state. After a long time of having trouble, the brain develops what scientists call a hyper-vigilance orientation. Even after the threat is gone, the threat detection centers stay on high alert. There is a circuitry for survival that stays active even when survival is not the main need. We haven't failed spiritually. This is a biological fact that explains why some people, even after going through a lot of hard times, and doing everything right spiritually, still can't fully enter the new season. Even though their spirit is in the new season, their brain is still stuck in the old one. Through its 8-minute targeted audio sequence, the Genius Switch works at just this level. It helps the brain finish the change from being hyper-vigilant to receiving information with the whole brain. When the left and right halves of the brain work together smoothly instead of being scattered like they are. When we're having a lot of problems, we can think more clearly, receive spiritually, and hold the fullness of a new season better in ways that can be measured and felt. Now, because I want to be honest with you, let me tell you how much this costs. It was first listed for sale at $500 for the Genius Switch. The price was then lowered to $49 as a special offer. The price is $39 for people who come through the link I'm going to give you. $439 for an 8-minute practice every day based on Dr. Daniel Barron's Nobel Prize-winning research. You can get your money back if you don't like that, so there's no risk in trying it. The right time to meet someone or something is important. And this is the right time to meet them, as the trial is ending, and the new season is beginning. This is not a coincidence that the receiver alignment is finishing up in your inner world at this time. When you use the right tool at the right time, you get results that you wouldn't get with the same tool at a different time. Right now is the right time for you. This is the right tool. It's in the comment that was pinned and in the description below. Here, I want to talk to the part of you that is wondering if this investment is worth it. Not the small amount of money that is being spent, but the investment of hope. The risk of trying something new, after everything you've been through. Being open is not naive. That level of openness is the receiver alignment at work. People who close because they've been let down in the past will miss what the new season has to offer. People who stay open and say, yes, to the tools God gives them at the right time, are the ones who catch the wave of what's coming. You haven't been through a lot of pain and know that hope can be dangerous. You have been chosen, you have done the work, and you are now ready to receive. Those are two very different identities that lead to two very different outcomes. Click on the link. Try the 8-minute drill. Let the activation of your whole brain help what the Holy Spirit is already doing in you. There is a link in the text. Or 39 is being put in. Because of the promise, you have nothing to lose. You have everything to gain because of the time. Now I'd like to take you to a dream. If I tell you about a scene, please use your imagination to picture it with me. Because what I'm about to show you is real. It's a sneak peek at what's coming. Picture yourself in 6 months. You're sitting somewhere quiet. How you feel when you're in a room is more important than how it looks. You're at ease. Not the fake stillness of someone who says, they are calm but really aren't. The deep calm of someone who has been through something, and knows they are on the other side, is what you feel. The quiet around you makes you feel like your prayer has been answered, not like there is nothing there. As you look at your life, you can see that the things you prayed for during the long season have come true. You have learned that the rhythm of God keeping His word is not all of them at once, but one after the other in a steady stream. You are not strained in this scene. No one is pushing you. You're not trying to make yourself believe something. There is no longer any believing on your part. It's something you live. You have peace of mind. You have an open heart. When you think back to the person you were at the start of the hard season, you see someone you love, respect, and are thankful for because they stayed. It's because they stayed that you are now sitting in the answered prayer of peace 6 months later. You are not far away from that scene from where you are now. The gap is where you are. Being braced or receiving is different from the gap. The space between them is the surrender threshold and the end of the receiver alignment. You are feeling both of those things right now as you listen. You are closer than you think to the scene I told you about. It's not a dream. It is where the path you are already on naturally ends. As we move toward the end of this message, I want you to hold on to this. The same God who led you through the valley also made the scene I just told you about. He doesn't just take people through valleys for no reason. He doesn't let the formation process finish and leave the person with nothing to show for it. In the kingdom, there is a time of harvest after every time of trial. You've been through the test. After the planting, there is the harvest, which is always equal to the depth of the planting. You were put down deep. From where you are now, you can't even begin to guess what will come up from that planting. Now I want to lead you through a short practice that will help your body remember what this message has said. This is because the body needs to know what the spirit has received. Things that happen in the mind stay in the mind. The things that you put in your body become a part of you. Take a slow breath in and slowly let it out. Now, find the part of your body that has been carrying the weight of the season you've been in. Not in your head, but in your body. The weight of everything you've been carrying has been stored somewhere in your chest, stomach, or shoulders. It's easy to find. You forgot about it, because you've been carrying it for so long. Now picture that weight as a real thing. Make it look like something. Color it. Keep it in your mind for a short time. Now, listen for the voice of the Father speaking clearly and quietly into that place. That time of year is over. You don't have to carry it anymore. The thing you've been holding on to is from the past, and the past is now behind you. As you breathe, let the weight start to melt away. Do not hold yourself up, open up your chest. Let the empty space where the weight was start to fill up with something else, something full. When a new season starts, you'll feel full, sure, and completely yours. Say a word right now. One word, got it. It's okay to say it quietly, even in a whisper. Before this message ends, I'd like to take a moment to stand in with you. Before we move on to what's on the other side, I want to honor what you were carrying. A season that asked more of you than you thought you could give made you feel heavy. You still gave it. You carried the weight of prayers that didn't seem to be answered. But you kept praying them anyway. You held on to a hope that was being tested, even though it was heavy. You carried the weight of an identity that the season tried to take away from you, the identity of someone God has chosen, called, and in charge, even when you couldn't see clear proof of it. That was a lot to carry. Before we name the release, I want to honor the weight of what you dealt with. My child, I've been waiting to say something to you, until now, because some words need to be fully received before they can be fully given. You are now ready enough to receive them. I never took my eyes off of you as you walked through the valley. I saw each step. Every night, I saw you check to see if I had forgotten about you. I didn't forget about you. I was with you the whole time, doing in you what that process could only do. Now I'm calling you out of the posture of endurance, and into the posture of receiving. What I've planned for you is now ready. What was promised is now here. It's now reward time. My child, you did it. You made it all the way through. Get that now, let it hit the ground. Do not turn it away. Do not play it down. Don't say that it's not really for you. It's for you. It's made just for you. It went all the way through this message to get to the part of you that needed to hear it the most. At this point, let's stand together and say what is true about you. Say this right now, anywhere. Say it to yourself or to someone else. Say it with all the weight of someone who has been through fire and come out on the other side. I have been picked. I got through it. The time for getting ready is over. I let go of the posture of endurance. I get all that my new season has to offer. I get what was promised. There is healing for the places that were hurt. The places where I was confused become clear to me. For the spots that were left empty, I get provision. I get the reward that the Father has saved for each day of the test I went through. I get it. I get it now. I get everything. That's how it is. Yes. There is a door in the description for those who feel that the mind they were given was made to hold more than it has been. You should be ready to receive what God has been saving for you. Both the comment below and the comment that was pinned have the link to the Genius Switch, a 39. There is no more to the guarantee. Now is the right time. Don't forget about this information and not take action. If you got this message today, please send it to someone who is going through a hard time. Even though you don't know what they're going through, you know who they are. Tell them about it. If you got this today, type "men" in the comments. When you're done, type "it is done." Kind of message I get if you crossed the surrender line today. You made it this far, and what comes next is very important. As this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment, whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our Ko-Fi community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself, Jesus says. This is not history, it is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is a divine appointment meant specifically for you. You are being invited into a protected, faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment, a place where divine abundance is not just a hope, but a promise built on the Word. By heading to the site right now, you are unlocking access to a sacred community of like-minded believers. When you join our membership tiers, you gain immediate entry to powerful content, daily devotions, and divine insights that are hidden from the world. This is your chance to enter a sanctuary where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support on our prayer wall, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join our inner circle through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the personalized messages and spiritual warfare tools meant to elevate your life. If you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. For those who want to amplify this work and carry the light home, you can find our guided ebooks and Bibles in the pinned comment. Whether you join as a member or sow a seed through our resources, your presence and energy change the world. Take the step. Your breakthrough awaits. You are about to enter your divine future. But remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary, where we discuss the Word daily, and stand in the gap for one another. This is not poetry when Jesus says, "Give and heaven will open over you." On this platform, every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and a hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall, share your heart, and as you give, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let's finish this journey together. Visit our community now, join the family, and see your heavens open.